Hi class, this is your first online lecture for your anatomy quiz. If I can get this screen to go bigger. For this anatomy quiz, we're only going to be having 4 questions on this quiz. We're only going to cover 4 muscles. This will be for our first unit. Oh, for crying out loud, this thing won't restart. Bear with me. You're watching it backwards for a second. Alright. One more. Anatomy 1, this is our breathing muscles. The first 2 weeks of this class we're going to be talking about breathing. And I want to focus on this a lot more. The first few weeks of class will feel hopefully not too tedious. I hope we can discover some new things of our body as we talk about breathing. But breathing is a very integral part to your workout. If we can breathe efficiently, you work out more efficiently. If you work out more efficiently, you get better results. And breathing is also, for me, in my experience at least, and I hope to pass this on to you guys, breathing can help a lot with your alignment. If you can improve your alignment, you improve your turns, you improve your balancing. And I believe that breathing is the key to improving those things. So that's why I wanted to start with this, and then our next unit we're going to go right into alignment and finding balance. So let's just go through these muscles real quick. Since we're talking about breathing, we're first going to talk about that diaphragm. The diaphragm, you see singers, they sing like this with their hands on their abdomen so they can feel the diaphragm working. The diaphragm, as you breathe in, it contracts down so it can open up the lungs so the lungs have space to let the air in. And as you breathe out, the diaphragm releases and air exits out the lungs and the lungs shrink. The diaphragm works in stabilization for a couple reasons. First off, if you can see where it's connecting, right here, this is called the crura. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but the crura are these little muscles right here that connect the diaphragm to the spine. If you'll notice as you breathe in, your spine elongates because that diaphragm is stretching. As you exhale, you feel that spine compress because the diaphragm is releasing and not stretching and contracting anymore. So that's the diaphragm. It's very important. Helps you breathe. Next one, the intercostal muscles. These are the muscles all in between the ribs. We're just going to talk about the interior. You also have exterior, that kind of the fibers cross the opposite direction and they're on the outside of the ribs. These connect on the inside of your rib cage. And obviously they help the ribs expand. The ribs can expand is because you notice these blue parts, that's cartilage. Cartilage is more flexible than these bony parts right here, and that's why the ribs can expand as the lungs are expanding as well. Okay, transversus abdominis. This is another key in connection to your diaphragm with alignment. When the diaphragm releases downward, the transversus abdominis kicks in and compresses and contracts around your entire torso. I like to call it a saran wrap muscle. That's my little internal analogy. You'll hear me talk a lot about internal analogy and images, but if I just kind of imagine saran wrap, or it can be a corset, whatever you want to imagine, compressing everything in, holding everything in nice and tight. And if you can activate this muscle, you can cover way more ground in your stability than your abs or your big back muscles can, because those muscles only connect to a few parts of your abdomen. The transverse abdominis connects everywhere. You see it connects to your spine. It covers the whole part of the iliac crest, which is the top part of your pelvis. Covers everywhere along the ribs, the base of the ribs, meets in the middle, called your linea alba. It's just that tendon, the six-pack line. And then it connects all the way down to your pubis symphysis. So it covers a ton of ground, and if we can activate that, which we'll focus on in exercises in class, your stability is much, much more improved. All right, last muscle for this introductory quiz. Sorry, I slur my words a lot. The pelvic floor. Uh, don't feel awkward talking about this muscle. This muscle, essentially, it controls the stream of urine. It helps you not go to the bathroom when you're on that road trip for 6 hours. Um, but it doesn't just do that. It covers the entire base of your torso. So it kind of sits like this, and then all your organs are stacked on top of it. And um, when this is activated, it activates everything else on top of it. So if you can find the pelvic floor, the best way to do it is just imagine that you're stopping that stream of urine. There's other exercises in class that we're going to do to help find that. And then that can kick in your transversus abdominis. It kicks in that diaphragm that connects to your spine. So it does a lot. And if you can find it in other movements like that arabesque or that penché, then you'll have a lot more stability. And that concludes our first anatomy lecture on lying. And I'll see you guys in class.